The first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of our July 13th, 2016 meeting, which is actually our annual meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? There's a motion. Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Well, please mark that in the minutes. The next item is approval of the legal bill of Tony Lopes Devereaux West for the months of June and July for a dollar figure of $14,909.16. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is approval for a legal bill from Adler, Pollock, and Sheehan for the months of June and July of 2016 in the amount of $4,972.49. Is there a motion? There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item are ratifications for the small dollar amount of $4,770,340.83. Eric, why don't you give a brief rundown? I'm sure this is all bridges, but if you want to.
Absolutely. I say it's a small one.
Yeah.
It's got a few of these small ones. There's three major projects around here. All the others are pretty small. One is the on-call roadway work that we've been doing. We've been doing a lot of concrete repair on the Newport Bell Bridge. The biggest chunk of this is for the painting. As everybody knows, the east approach is done. We finished that a few months ago. The west approach is nearing completion. That will be done this November. So just finishing up on those. And then you will also see a building here for the toll plaza. The toll plaza is about 98% complete. And that's just one of those for the toll.
Any questions of Mr. Oppenheimer? We have a motion to ratify. There's a motion. Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item I will turn over to our Executive Director, Mr. Crawford.
Mr. Chairman and fellow board members, I have had the pleasure and the honor of being the Executive Director of the Bike Bridge for 10 years. This is the first time that I've asked an employee of ours to join us at this morning's meeting. There is an article that from the Newport Daily News, the headline says, "Man talked down from Pell Bridge. 2 police officers and an employee of the Rhode Island Turnpike Bridge Authority are being credited with saving the life of a despondent man who planned to jump from the Newport Pell Bridge on Monday." If you bear with me, let me just read this. On August 8, 2016, officers responded to the Newport Bridge for a report of a despondent male party climbing up the wires. Brian Sullivan, of the Rhode Island Turnpike Bridge Authority, responded to the scene, unlocked the access door to the East Tower. Due to the circumstances of the call, Sullivan and I, this is a police officer from Newport, entered the tower. Mr. Sullivan led us to the top deck where we made contact with the party. Once on the top deck, Mr. Sullivan and I began speaking with the party. I commend Mr. Sullivan for his quick response to an emergency situation. Upon arrival to the scene, he was updated on the incident. Without hesitation or fear for his own personal safety, Mr. Sullivan guided me to the top of the tower, where we were able to speak with the despondent party and ultimately convince him to come back inside the tower. Mr. Sullivan showed both compassion and empathy to a person he had never met, and I believe was the major factor in the party's decision to climb back to safety with us. Brian Sullivan proved himself as both an exemplary person and employee, and you should be proud to have someone of this caliber serving in your staff. In addition, in talking to everyone that was involved with the situation, I'm talking to a bunch of the first responders and talking to the chief of Newport and having the opportunity to talk with Brian. There was no doubt that Brian's involvement with that situation saved this young man's life. Were it not for Brian, I'm terribly concerned that we would have had a very sad ending. It was Herculean what Brian did. It's not often in life that you have an opportunity to save someone else's life, and Brian did on August 8th. So I just wanted to recognize Brian and thank you. Brian, thank you very much. Thank you, but don't let the next time. Thank you, and I know that, like I said, that this would not have been a happy ending for you. Thank you.
Brian, on behalf of the board and obviously the whole authority for which Mr. Croft speaks, we appreciate the work you guys do every day. I see some of your colleagues that are here, and the men and women that work in this building and in the maintenance facility and up on those bridges. It's tough work, and we do appreciate it. We saw last week, we almost had a tragedy, and thank God everybody was okay. It's difficult work that you do in your regular job, and what you did was obviously above and beyond what you do on a daily basis. So we really, really do appreciate that, and thank all the guys and the women that work for us.
Can I
Thank you very much.
say something about
Absolutely
this?
right.
I was the person they called. I firmly believe anybody in my maintenance department would have done the exact same thing. And in any situation, would try not to panic, try to do what we're supposed to do. And I firmly believe anybody in our group would have done that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brian. The next item is discussion and approval of a contract with CDM Smith related to traffic control for each bridge. Eric, can you just describe this briefly, please?
Certainly. The Turnpike and Bridge Authority follows the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. It's a big book, and it tries to set the safety measures for doing lane closures for generic procedures everywhere. We have 5 different assets that we now take care of, and every one of them is different. And it requires a little bit different traffic control from each one. Mount Hope Bridge is only 2 lanes. Secana River Bridge, they drive fairly, it's a big, wide highway. Newport Bridge has a narrow lane. So everything that we have requires different lane closures. And what we're going to do with CDM Smith is they are going to come and see all the lane closures that we do now on different bridges, and they're going to put together a standard for us for each one of the bridges and for Route 138 here. So we have specific criteria that we can use for safety status. And that's the genesis of this.
Do we have a motion to approve? There's a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to an underwater inspection of Mount Hope Bridge. Eric, do you want to chat about this briefly?
Sure. It's a federal requirement that we do an underwater inspection every 5 years of our bridge. We are due at the Mount Hope Bridge. Our consultant, WSP, did the inspection of the top of the bridge, and now they're going to do the bottom of the bridge for a price of not to exceed $124,000.
Great. For a motion to approve. There's a motion, is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of the contract with WSP, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a bid award to Majeski and Masters related to critical fracture inspections, and this is on the Newport Bridge.
Correct. Once again, with the bridges, we have to do the top side of the bridges every 2 years. And what we do is we have a series now of 4 consultants on board. WSP has done the last 4 inspections of the Newport Bridge. We're now going to have Majeski and Masters do it, fresh set of eyes. I like to rotate the consultants to make sure we're always looking at something different. And the Newport Bridge is so big that we split it into 2. We do the suspended span 1 year, we do the approach span the second. So this is for the suspended spans and some Majeski Masters not to exceed 225,800 pounds.
Do we have a motion to approve? There's a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of a contract with Majeski and Masters, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to a billable hour rate that Mr. Croft has suggested should go from $75 to $90 related to on-call engineering, and it's his explanation. This is still below the industry standard, Mr. Croft?
Yeah, that is the case. It's something that I years ago to do, to put us in line with, the rest of the industry.
Do we have a motion to approve? There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is with Piansky Steel related to rehab on the Mount Hope Bridge for a dollar figure of $11,662,750. Eric, can you just describe this work for us, please?
Sure, it's another one of those small ones. The Mount Hope Bridge, we had the northern approach or the Bristol side of the approach done 4 years ago. And in that contract, we blast all the paint off, we repair all the steel, and we put a new coat paint system on. We're now going to do the southern approach or the Portsmouth side of it. This is in our 10-year plan. This is part of what we do as maintenance on the Mount Hope Bridge to keep that 90-year-old bridge going for another 90 years. So it's a critical piece of what we need to do. We had, for the first time ever, we had 5 companies submit bids on this. So we had very competitive pricing, came in under the engineer's estimate at $11,662,000. We have looked at all the references, reviewed all the files, and we recommend approval of the Second Steel Corporation to do this work.
Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion, is there a second? Eric, and were they the lowest responsibility?
They were.
Any other discussion? Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to the Mount Hope Bridge, which is a contract with Etna Bridge for concrete repairs for a not to exceed total of $2,129,800. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion, is there a second? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to repair work on the Newport Hill Bridge, Route 138, and the Route 138 between the Jamestown and Newport Bridge, and I assume beyond the Jamestown Bridge and the Jamestown Bridge itself, for a dollar figure of $8,346,945. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Eric, can you just explain to us what this is, please?
Certainly. In the past, we've had an on-call maintenance contract for just the Newport Bridge. This is the first time that we've done a contract that includes the Newport Bridge, the whole toll plaza area, all of Route 138 through Jamestown up to Route 18 and the Jamestown Bridge. We went out to bid on this project. We did have 3 bidders. Etna bid came in as the lowest qualified bidder. This will include concrete repair, this will include drainage repair, it'll be grading, it'll be asphalt paving, pretty much everything that we would need on an on contract in the next 4 years.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to a subject we discussed at previous meetings, the maintenance building under a bridge that would store some of our equipment. There's an issue related to fire safety, and this would be a motion to approve $150,000 to install a mandated fire sprinkler system within the building. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? There's a motion to second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The motion carries. The next item relates to software. And I just want to be clear, and I think Maggie can have you answer this. Who's the actual contract with us?
It is what is attached, which is SBS Group.
Okay. And the dollar figure is $14,000?
It won't exceed that. If you notice behind here, they had quoted around $13,000. We're going to do some testing on that before we actually go live, and I didn't want you to have to come back to the board for another $1,000 in case there was some difficulty in testing.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. With a contract not to exceed $14,000 with the Signature Business Systems Consulting, Inc. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to insurance, and the bid award would go to Starkweather and Shepley, which is our current insurer. Maggie, can you just discuss this a little bit, please?
Sure. We went out to Enterprise Risk Solutions, who did an RFP for us on all our insurance excluding the bridge insurance. And so it's a complicated process. That's why we go out to a consultant who really all these different areas of the insurance policies. And what happened was they sharpened their pencil that we ended up with a decrease in that renewal premium of $67,000. One of the changes that we did make is that we are going to do a set aside of $50,000 on a deductible, and that saves us $60,000, so we're up $10,000 on the policy.
We have a motion to approve. There's a motion, is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Any questions of Ms. Baker? Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item is a discussion of our 2016 draft audit. Who's going to make that presentation?
Maggie is, and Steve Jeremy is here from the firm to give you a quick overview. I just want to say that it was, the draft is exemplary. There were no findings whatsoever, and I'm ecstatic with that. So, I don't know, Maggie, Steve.
Yes, Steve.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Steve Jeremy, I'm partner with LGCD. Thank you very much for the opportunity to meet with you today. You have the draft financial statements, I understand, in your board package, so I'll be brief. We conducted our audit in accordance with general accepted auditing standards, as well as government auditing standards. That second set of standards is required because the authority is a component unit of the state of Rhode Island. So we are required under those standards to audit the amounts and disclosures of the financial statements that you see. To read the other information that's included in the financial statements, for example, the management's MD&A, and also to report on whether the authority complied in all material respects with laws and regulations that directly affect amounts or disclosures in the financial statements, and to report on the internal control policies and procedures it has in place related to financial reporting. So we're in the process of completing our audit, a couple of open items, but upon completion of our audit, we're prepared to issue an unmodified or a clean opinion on the financial statements that will say that the financial statements present fairly the authority's assets and liabilities and revenues and expenses for the fiscal year 2016, and also to report that we did not identify any instances of non-compliance with material laws and regulations that would affect these financial statements, as well as no material weaknesses in internal control of the financial reporting. So understanding that you've had an opportunity to review the draft, I'd just like to kind of highlight a couple of financial highlights. The authority increased its net position, which is its assets in excess of its liabilities, by approximately $9.7 million for fiscal 2016. The authority generated approximately $36,573 in operating revenues and $697,000 in net investment income, and it incurred expenses, operating expenses of approximately $22,850,000. Interest expense of approximately $4.1 million, which is the interest expense of the bonds, and about $900,000 of cost to issue new bonds. As you know, in February 2016, the authority issued the motor fuel revenue bonds in the amount of $117,000. Because it issued those bonds at a premium, it actually received more than the $117,000. It actually received $134 million in bond proceeds. Those bond proceeds were used in part to pay the $60 million of outstanding bond anticipation notes that were outstanding to last year, and the remainder set aside to be used for future renovations and repairs to the bridges. Total revenues and gas revenue make up about 98% of the total revenues of the authority. As I said, the total revenues were $36,573,000. Of that, total revenue was $20,357,000, increase of about $945,000. And gas tax revenue was $15,701,000, which was an increase of approximately $345,000 from the prior year. Operating expenses include cost to operate, naturally the total operations, and the cost of maintaining the bridges. Operating expenses increased approximately $1.1 million for fiscal 2016. Besides, included in operating expenses are things like payroll, repairs and maintenance, consulting, insurance, utilities, and they make up about $9.8 million of total operating costs of $22,855,000. And depreciation is the second largest component, that's about $12 million. Depreciation actually increased, and that's because you're doing capital improvements to the bridges, and those costs get depreciated over a period of time. But all the other expenses, for example, payroll, utilities, repairs and maintenance, consulting, those types of operating expenses actually decreased by about $1.2 million in fiscal 2016. So, as part of the audit process, Buddy and Maggie also, already said that we didn't have any significant disagreements. There were no audit adjustments. There were no adjustments that we proposed that management did not record in the financial statements, for example, wage adjustments. No significant estimates in the financial statements that we thought were unreasonable because the financial statements are in part based on some estimates. As part of the audit process, we will get written representations from management. We anticipate that there'll be no problems with those representations, and those representations that were requested will be consistent with those that we got in the audit. From an open item perspective, we are waiting for the to come in. We anticipate that there will be no changes to the disclosures of the financial statements as a result of receiving the responses. And then upon approval by the board of the draft will then go over to the Auditor General's office for their review and approval. We don't anticipate there will be any significant changes. And then there are, some completion procedures that we need to wait for the passage of time to complete. So we fully anticipate that we'll be able to issue the final financial statement for opinion no later than September 30th.
Any questions, Mr. Durgan?
Could I just add one more thing? I'd like to thank Jim Cook, our controller, who made the audit process seamless by doing that.
Thank you very much. We're just going to accept this, is that a procedural issue? Is there a motion to accept the draft audit statement? There's a motion to second, any discussion? I'd like to, again, thank Ms. Baker, Mr. Cook, all the finance staff. This is, I've been on this board now, I think, a dozen years, and from my recollection, for the first time, I've had an entirely clean audit, so we've made good progress, and I appreciate that very much. So the motion is second to accept this draft audit. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Next item relates to traffic management. Mr. Croft.
As board members know, we've about to embark on a very ambitious construction schedule over in Mount Hope as well as some in Newport. We are attempting to, we did public forums at Bristol and Portsmouth town councils. We met with all the town fathers in both communities. We're attempting to keep the public very well informed, not only through our website, but I'm proposing, and it's budgeted money, but I wanted to come before the board, not to exceed $35,000 to do some radio spots to drive them to our website, to keep the motor public informed. In addition, we're going to partner with the Waze application. A lot of these people are familiar with Waze. And I asked Jim Malakowski, the managing partner at IEW, to give a brief overview as to what this is all about.
I'll talk fast so I can be brief. Good morning and thank you. We've had this account for a little while. We have a lot of experience and affinity for government sector accounts. It's certainly different and dynamic than our private sector accounts. Just quickly, two of my associates that help on the account, Dee Edmondson is here, and Bianca Nicolette. As Buddy said, the 10-year plan is a significant undertaking, and we made an effort to promote the 10-year plan and let people know that you're maintaining your bridges. Your core brand attribute is safety, and getting out the word that you're spending time and money to maintain the bridges is a very good thing. We get a very good press on it. With that, we all know that brings traffic issues. In the past, and we'll continue to do, when there is traffic concerns and traffic backups, we talk to the media outlets. And they're very good about promoting what's happening on the bridge relative to the traffic. But as you know, with construction activity, sometimes there's delays, it's not finished in time, there's fits and starts. There have been times on Sunday night at 10 o'clock we're waiting for the all clear to tell the media, for Monday morning rush hour, there won't be any traffic concerns. So it's a time-consuming endeavor. We'll continue to do that. But we also have an exciting new initiative that Turnpike and Bridge will be launching. In conjunction with Buddy and the staff, Turnpike and Bridge now has a partnership with Waze. Waze is a mobile application that provides real-time traffic information. And what will happen under the partnership is the Waze feed will now be on your website. And I wanted to show you this. This is a page from your website. At the moment, it is a hidden page, but this exists. Excuse me, this is live. And you can see the Newport Bridge right here is green. And I'm happy that when I look out the window, that the traffic is moving great. The Jamestown Bridge is over here. On the other Waze feed is the Mount Hope, and here's the Secana. There was a day last week when this would have been bright red with the traffic backups. So you will have on your website embedded this live Waze feed. So people can go to your site and see real-time traffic updates. If you can scroll on this a little bit. In addition to the real-time feeds, we're also going to have on the website these individual boxes where you can put prospectively what's happening with construction and traffic. So that for Mount Hope, there'll be something inputted, type in here. This is a Twitter hashtag, so your staff can just do it, just type it in and not have to deal with the content management system. And you can put whatever message you have here that Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, there is construction taking place on Mount Hope, expect traffic delays. These are private, I'll call them, Twitter hashtags, so the public cannot add to this. Only what you post will be there. If the public wants to comment, they can, it'll go to your regular Twitter account. So this is a pretty exciting initiative that you're going to have this on your website. In announcing any new initiative, you're going to let people know that it's happening. And so the task now is to let people know about this, an information education campaign, and drive people to your website. So with any marketing initiative, it's got to be multifaceted. So there are 10 different tactics that will be employed to tell people about this. They'll both be mass marketing techniques and direct marketing techniques. On the mass marketing side, there will be radio spots. The radio will be either a sponsorship of traffic reports or a short 10-second, 15-second spot right after the traffic reports. That's the best time we want to get people. And as Buddy said, that'll be in the vicinity of $35,000 not to exceed for the radio. Mass marketing will also include a draft. We've got a draft on an op-ed from Buddy that will go into the papers. A press release that'll go out. Buddy and Eric going on some radio talk shows. On your own website, we'll promote this on the front page. You have special things, you have special events. Your own social media assets that you use, your Twitter and Facebook accounts will have it. They'll be posted in the town halls. The direct marketing initiatives will include an email blast, the email addresses of Easy Pass customers, as well as a letter to Easy Pass customers, and signage, VMS signages as approaches to the bridge. So that's what I have. I wanted to keep it brief.
Any questions of Mr. Malikowski? Is there a motion to approve? This motion is there a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item is DMV lookup for resident processing system. Mr. Hunter, can you do this?
Yes, thank you. I had come before the board at the last meeting requesting to go out for an RFP. The estimated cost was going to be annually $75,000. After getting and receiving bid, it actually has come in at, we expect an annual rate of $57,000. I would ask the board's approval to award the contract to LES. They do DMV lookups for our neighboring Lincoln states and across the U.S. It is a limited amount of companies that are out there that can perform because of law enforcement and rules with DMV lookup and privacy. The bid that came back from LAS was very aggressive because I had looked at our neighboring states who currently have them, and they were kind enough to share the rate that they have. They are, as far as DMV lookup, one of the best companies out there. And
So explain, Kathy, can you just explain how they see in this bid form, it says pricing figure 89 cents per record return.
Correct.
So that means we ask them to look and then, explain.
So one of the things that we did put in our, because we do get back what we call no hits, and I did not want to be paying for them going off the DMV lookup, and we're not getting any information back. So one of the requirements we put in that we're only paying if you actually get us the information. And so 35% of our violators are outside of our island. And so that last year when I did the totals, and that's pretty consistent since day one. So we structured it such that you have to go out the DMV lookup on everything, but you're only going to charge us when we actually get a hit.
And those are only out of state.
That is correct. We have a direct line with our own Rhode Island DMV with a 65%. So, and at no cost.
So I don't see a contract here, I just see this bid form. What we're approving is a not to exceed figure to enter into a contract for $57,000. And that's over how many years?
It's a 3-year with, there are options to renew if the Rhode Island chooses to.
All right, I just want to make sure that it's $57,000, 3-year deal with the options, and that the contract is not. That's all. Sure.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion, is there a second? There's a motion, a second. Any discussion or other questions? Do you want to add something? All those in favor, we haven't voted yet. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carries. We have a very brief executive director's report.
We do, just very quickly, there was obviously an incident over the Sky River Bridge a couple of weeks ago. It was potentially, could have been a life-threatening situation. There is, OSHA is looking at it, we're looking at it, state police, commercial division looked at it. There will be a report forthcoming at some time. And I'm just very, very happy that two individuals involved were safe and very, very, very minor injuries. So the only other thing I would say is the Fort Ridge Run is coming up next weekend, the bicycle run. I talked to Matt Gray yesterday. He expects to have 800 bikers, which is by far an all-time high. So that event's going well. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions, Mr. Croft? We have no further business. We're gonna have a motion to adjourn. We're gonna ask everybody to clear the room very quickly because we're gonna go right into executive session. So is there a motion to adjourn? There's a motion, is there a second? And that would also to enter into executive session. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, so carried. Thanks for everything, guys.